my dad made himself into a cowboy. He changed his name to Gay early in his childhood. His stepfather was an auto mechanic and a Navy veteran and was a heavyweight boxer in the Navy. This is how he learned how to be so fast on his feet and quick on the trigger. and he changed his name to Neil Gay when he was like 17. And our family tree's fairly short, but it's fairly stout. So,
it's a long ways up to the first branch, is it?
Yeah.
We've told the folks how you grew up and how your background was rodeo, and you understood everything about rodeo. You probably even understood how to enter and how to travel and all those things before you really went out on the road, didn't you?
Now you have to remember, in 1970, the world hadn't been over-lawyered yet, and the insurance companies didn't have their teeth all the way into us. So you could be a professional rodeo cowboy. You could win money rodeoing, basically, when you're younger than 18. I filled my permit, and I'm 17 years old. I can't really go on the road till I get that diploma.
Uh-huh.
Well, we already knew. We were reading the sports news, and we had rule books. We understood our association. You knew when the entries would close at the rodeos, and you had to call the individual rodeo secretaries to enter back then. And so you had to know your business. And so if you're going to make a living, who makes a living not knowing their business? So this was something that you didn't need to be told. I mean, Pete and I were doing a man's work when we were 7, 8 years old. I mean, they'd drop me and Pete off at pasture and tell us there's 60 head of Corrientes in there and have them in the pen. We'll be back in 2 hours. You better have 60 Corrientes in the pen, or you better be somewhere chasing him.
What, as you look back on your career, there had to be certain individuals that you were competing with that made a difference in whether or not you won. Do you remember the first really bad bull you got on that you won on?
I never really, somebody asked me how you remember all these bulls and everything, and I said, well, I either remember them because they were really good and I'd win money on them, or they were really bad and I was scared to death of them. And so I could remember either one of those two. The ones in the middle didn't matter. The luck of the draw played a huge role in how much you won. But if we all knew, if you went to 100 rodeos, the luck of the draw and the bad judging would always even itself out if you didn't quit. So, maybe that was something that we just told ourselves, but that's how I motivated myself, and to do things. Just you try to get better, but I never really, had the turning point for me was, when I got out of high school. On Saturday night, I drove Phil Lyon's station wagon with 5 other guys, Hawkeye being one of them, and Red Edmonds. We drove from Dallas, Texas to DuQuoin, Illinois, all night long, and got to DuQuoin at the state fair, the county fair rodeo, and it was raining right straight down, outdoor. And I won the saddle bronc riding and the bull riding, and I won $422.10. Called my daddy on the phone, put the quarter in the phone on the wall, got the operator, made a collect call, and I told Daddy, I said, I'll see you in Oklahoma City in December. And hung the phone up, and I bought dinner because I was the only one in the car that won anything. And that car belonged to Phil Lyon, and so we were tasked to deliver it from Mesquite, Texas to Fort Smith, Arkansas, but we went by way of DuQuoin, Illinois before we got back to Fort Smith. But we got his car back then.
Being fortunate enough to feel like I'm I was a part of the rodeo family during the
You have
time
been.
period that I was playing rodeos. I was always impressed with the family attitude and the family atmosphere. Everybody depended on everybody else for their companionship, and you were in the same mold, cut out of the same mold, and you had the same instincts. And that doesn't happen in any other sport, I don't think.
Well, it's not happening in the rodeo business near as much as it used to.
Yep.
And it's like Jim Shoulders would always say, there's only one thing that really changes in rodeo, and that starts with an M and ends with a Y, and that's money. And he said, and too much money is a way worse problem than not enough. And that's because of people. And I guarantee you that John Davis and Marvin Shoulders and Pete Gay and Monty Henson, Bobby Brown will tell you that we rodeoed in the best time because we still had some of that camaraderie and family. But that actually started whenever Jim Shoulders and Dude Smith and Neil Gay and the guys would go to New York and spend 3 weeks there. And then they'd go to Boston and spend 3 weeks there. And so you did live together. And so we fast forward, and everybody, next generation's always going to make it better, you think. But all we did was we sped things up, and we were winning more money, but we might not have been banking more money. I mean, Jim Shoulders set the bull riding money record, $28,700 in 1954. He went to 43 rodeos or some number like that. Of course, he was working more than one event. Well, I broke that record in 1974. My total, including what I won at the national finals, was $30,300. That's for 150 rodeos, travel expenses, plus riding, I think, 8 out of 10 and winning second or third in the average at the NFR. That was my total. That was the record from 20 years prior. So we weren't really making. I won more money. I broke the record, but I didn't bank near as much of that 30,000 as Jim did his 28,000 20 years earlier. So we had to make things. But Larry Mahan, who's the next greatest cowboy to Jim Shoulders, but he was way more personable. He was getting on TV. He had the fuzzy hat and the long hair and cool breeze, and he broke the $50,000 total money mark in 1967, and by 1976, with Madman clothes and his personality and getting some more television exposure, people like yourself coming on the entertainment scene, we begun to expand our footprint a little bit, and sponsor dollars began to come, and so we've not done a bad job.
You've not done a bad job at all, Donnie. It's the most unbelievable sport, and I'm proud to have been a part of it. And I remember when I did my Cowboy album in 1975, and I wanted to show the world that I really was not afraid to get on a bull, and I came over to Mesquite, and you and Hawkeye put me on a bull, taped my arm, my bad arm that I couldn't control, taped it down. And I'll never forget, just before you opened the gate, you said, "Now, Red, one of us can ride him, and we'll put your face on it." And I said, "No way, buddy, I'm on." And I didn't ride him very far.
I offered, but I'll tell you this: when somebody asked me, said, "Well, is Red Steagall really a cowboy?" And I said, "You damn straight." You came and got on that bull, and we probably spent 2 days trying to talk you out of it. Because you got a bad arm, but and I wasn't really afraid of the bull hurting you as much as you not being able to, break a fall if you fell that way.
Yeah.
And shoot, you rode that bull 3 or 4 jumps out there, and some belly roll. It looked like the rest of us got tipped into your hand and hit the ground, and then of course we did holler a little bit because he was coming back. You had to get up, and we were thinking, well, he was going to run over you just a little bit.